Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Addictions Recovery Coaching .com. That's my website, and that will be in the description box. I just wanted to do a quick video today, not so well today, but I wanted to get this information out. If you need help, if you're looking for a recovery coach, I'd be more than happy to help you. Topic of this video. Now, I'm going to give a bit of history beforehand of my own experience with this. Marijuana smoke, is it worse for your lungs? Is it worse for you, let's just say in general, but you know, you think your lungs first, right? Then tobacco. And what I'm pertaining to is smoking it, not vaping, but I'm sure there's also information about that. And I don't think that the information is fully clear yet. But I'm going to read you an article. But in addictions counseling at university, this is the book I'm studying right now. Drugs in Perspective. This is a teaching manual, and it definitively says that it is much worse. That's what it says. I believe it, and it's up to date. But anyways, I can't find the exact spot that I was on. So I'm going to give you a little background. I am in recovery myself for about 13 years. And as far as smoking marijuana, I haven't smoked marijuana in, I don't know, 15 or longer years. But you know, a lot of my friends smoked it, and this is something that I just never understood. And you know, the concept is so easy, but my friends never understood it. My friends all smoked cigarettes, and I was probably one of the last ones to quit. And but I just remember being at my friend's house, and he was using bongs, and he used a lot of bongs to smoke his weed. You know, he'd put water in it, and it would have a pipe coming out the side. And what he would do is he would put tobacco with his marijuana, you know, his diced up marijuana, you know, broken up. And I always just thought, you said you stopped smoking, but you have tobacco in it. I just never understood people who say that. Smoking is smoking. But what I'm pertaining to in this video is just the marijuana bud, whatever it is, you're smoking it, okay? When you smoke something, there's carcinogens in smoke, okay? And from what I read in that book, it said it was 40% worse. There are studies coming out, so I just want to read you what I have. So imagine this, I'm 46 years old, I'm heading towards my 50s, and you know, from the people that I know who did that type of stuff, you know, now they have like you know, issues with like wheezing when they're sleeping. You know, a lot of infections that they get in their throat. I don't, thank God. But, you know, bronchitis. But, in any case, I'm going to read this. This is CNN Health. Not that I trust CNN, but this article I do. So, wait till the end, because it really gives the right information at the end that I'm, you know, getting to the crux of. Is inhaling marijuana smoke safer than inhaling smoke from tobacco? When was this written? 2023, over a year and a half ago. So there's a lot since. So I want you to think about this first, okay? When you smoke marijuana, that smoke carries on for it can carry on for a couple miles anyways, especially on a non-windy day. They just hang in the air. I certainly smell it from very long distances, and I'm in Canada where it's on every corner. It hangs in the air so much longer than smoke, and it's just thick. Just thinking about that, clogged in your lungs and your arteries and your cells. A majority of Americans say yes, that it is safer. This is just opinion, according to a new survey. And they also believe there's less harm to adults and children from secondhand smoke than tobacco smoke. However, those benefits are just not true, said lead study author Beth Cohen, professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco, and a co-director of USCF's program in residency investigation methods in epidemiology. When you burn something, whether it's tobacco or cannabis, it creates toxic compounds, carcinogens, and particulate matter that are harmful to health. She said, and people think because, marijuana takes away pain, that smoke must not be harmful. That's the way people think. Particulate matter that are harmful to health. She said in an email, it's the combustion that's the issue. So, like you have a vaporizer that puts it into water versus smoke. If you're going to harm reduction, right? I do champion harm reduction, so move to a vaporizer if you can't stop. It's so much more healthy. It's the combustion that's the issue. So this idea that because cannabis is natural burning and inhaling, it's just wrong. While many longitudinal studies on the health impact of inhaling marijuana are still underway, there are plenty of toxins in tar. This was a year and a half ago. In cannabis smoke that can hurt the lungs. Toxins in tar, plenty, said Carol Boyd, founding director of the Center for the having a hard day, guys, for the study of drugs, alcohol, smoking, and health at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. She was not involved in the new study. I don't believe that comparing the health risks of marijuana smoking and tobacco smoking is useful any more than asking, are eating cookies healthier than eating cake? All smoke is an irritant to the respiratory tract, and at a time in human history when humans breathe polluted air, no added smoke is good. Why say which one is worse? Like if it's going to hurt you. A growing acceptance. The study published in the journal JAMA Network surveyed over 5,000 people with an average of age of 50 and their attitudes towards the safety of smoking weed versus smoking tobacco. This is just opinions. They were quizzed on whether they considered secondhand smoke from weed or tobacco to be potentially dangerous. So it's a lot worse when you mix both. Conducted 3 times in 2017, 2020, and 2021, the survey showed that people's positive perception of marijuana was increasing. By 2021, the last year of the survey, over 44% of those surveyed thought cannabis was somewhat or much safer, compared with 25.5% who thought cigarettes were safer. When it came to potential harm to others who might breathe marijuana smoke, it's a lot of people, over 40% thought smoke from weed was safer, compared with 23 who picked tobacco. Usually the lower one wins. I can't speak to the danger, but if a person in an enclosed space with marijuana smokers, they can test positive for cannabis in their urine. They can also get some of their physical effects of marijuana. I do. I've walked out my door here where people are smoking right out the door. Thick cloud, walk in, I'm high. I'm not kidding you. While studies results on the health impacts of cannabis are increasingly concerning, our perceptions are going in the opposite direction. Pardon me, just get a drink some water. Though tobacco policies are becoming more restrictive, with bans on smoking in public places and on flavored products, I remember being able to smoke anywhere inside. Cannabis is becoming increasingly available, she said. So people have the view just because they're selling it and legalizing it must be safe. There are also efforts to allow smoking of cannabis in places where smoking of tobacco is banned. Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that. That's not here though where I live. I live in Canada. Research on the impact of cannabis on health in its infancy. Historically, it's been difficult to study cannabis use because weed has been illegal and still is in the US and many states. In addition, the federal government historically has had very strict regulations on how marijuana can be studied. Do you know that? Because it's illegal in so many places, they don't have thorough studies. You think it would be studied very thoroughly. That began to ease, and with the legalization of cannabis for recreational use in many states, follow me to the end, more researchers are now exploring the consequences of habitual use of weed. What is generally known is that frequent smoking of marijuana is associated with chronic bronchitis. What does chronic bronchitis lead to? COPD. Throat and bronchial inflammation. So when you hear people constantly coughing when you're smoking weed, be careful. While marijuana smoke contains carcinogens such as benzoprine and benzothiazine, it doesn't appear that smoking marijuana causes lung cancer. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. A 2021 study found that found people who only smoked marijuana had higher blood and urine levels of several smoke-related toxins than non-smokers. Those toxins are linked to anemia, liver and neurological damage, cancer, and other health issues. Just because it's not your lungs. Another 2021 study found that teens are about twice as likely to report wheezing or whistling in the chest after vaping marijuana than after smoking cigarettes. That's a big warning sign because the smoke is so thick. In fact, regular cannabis vaping was associated with even more negatory respiratory symptoms. You know what? I'll say this. Because they legalized it where I am, the ERs are filled with people, both from mental deficits, from what it's doing to people, whether or not marijuana is good for you. Everyone is better without, unless you have like severe pain in the chest after vaping marijuana than after smoking cigarettes or using e-cigarettes. In fact, regular cannabis vaping with even more negative respiratory symptoms. Okay, I didn't see this. Disturbed sleep due to wheezing, limited speech due to wheezing during or after exercise, and experiencing a dry cough at night. That was not due to a cold or chest infection. That's vaping weed. A 2022 study looked at the lungs of people much younger than 50 who smoked both tobacco and cannabis and found that 75% had emphysema. I don't know, that sounds strange, but a disease of the small air, maybe to some degree, of the small airways that causes damage to the air sacs in the lungs. About 67% of the tobacco-only smokers had emphysema. while only 5 of the non-smokers had the disease, the study found. These patients presumably had less lifetime exposure to smoke, except they're even sicker than those who are heavy tobacco smokers and have been doing it much longer. Lead study author Giselle Rava, an assistant professor in the Department of Radiology at the University of, where I live, Ottawa, Ontario. Go figure. Because, well, number one, because it's the capital of my nation, but because it's illegal. We just don't know if it's a synergistic effect between the marijuana and the tobacco versus the marijuana alone. Another concern, marijuana users tend to inhale, listen to this, deeper, and you hold the smoke in longer, which leads to a greater exposure per breath to tar, according to the American Lung Association. Smoking marijuana hurts the lungs' first line of defense against infection by killing cells that help remove dust and germs as well as causing more mucus to be formed, the association said on the website. It's taking down your defenses. Smoking marijuana suppresses the immune system, leaving you open to disease. The ALA said it can leave users exposed to a mold that can grow on marijuana. So you're smoking that marijuana, it has mold on it, and because your immune system is suppressed, you're open to whatever it can do. You hear of mold in homes when you're breathing that in. What do people develop? Is it called mesothelioma? It's basically the same stuff as COPD and all these different airway diseases. Although more research needs to be done on the impact on the lungs of people who smoke weed or the health effect of secondhand cannabis smoke, what is known is concerning. I'm not anti-cannabis. I just want people to make informed decisions, she said. Even if we do more research and find out that cannabis smoke is less harmful than tobacco smoke, it still doesn't make it safe. I think that was very informative, and do me a favor, not for my sake, but for other people's sake, push this video, share it. It's just obvious. When I just think of, the way people use marijuana, when they give each other shotguns and those types of things, your throat burns and you wonder why. It's so thick. It's just destruction. Anyways, if anyone's looking for a recovery coach, you want to set goals, you want to be held accountable, you want to find something better in your life, I'll put my website in the details. I'm not well in my abdomen today, so forgive me for that, but I hope this information has helped you some.